In the past decade or so, many children of Hollywood celebrities have come out as transgender. Some celebrities, like Charlize Theron and Jamie Lee Curtis, took the news with open arms. Other celebrities, such as Cher, had to go through their own transitional periods of acceptance before coming to terms with their kids' gender transitions. The recent celebrity child to come out as transgender is Noah Lee Ritter, who was born Stella Ritter just a few years before the death of her famous father, John. Join Facts First to see how John Ritter's daughter looks after her transition. Stella Ritter is now Noah Lee Ritter. Many people know about TV actor John Ritter's tragic and untimely death in 2003, but fewer people know that it occurred on his daughter's 5th birthday. Daughter Stella Ritter turned 5 the day of her dad's passing. Since his 2003 death, a lot has changed in the life of daughter Stella. Stella was the daughter of John and Amy Yazbek. Prior to marrying Amy in 1999, John was married to an actress named Nancy Morgan from 1977 to 96. Throughout their marriage, John and Nancy had 3 children. All these children ended up following their father's footsteps into the entertainment industry, and they're all doing fairly well for themselves in the wake of his tragic passing. But Stella is most recently found in the headlines, and not because of her career. The reason she's drawing so much attention from the public is because she's now Noah Lee. Stella was born September 11th, 1998. She was assigned female at birth. Given that her parents were both famous celebrities, Stella often made public appearances during her early years. In the years since her father's passing, less and less has been seen of Stella, and we now know the reason is that Stella has gone through a major transition in her life. It was upon her 18th birthday that she finally made the decision to undergo gender transition. Today, Stella is known as Noah Lee Ritter, and the name change also came with a change in pronouns. Given that Noah waited until his 18th birthday to transition, it's easy to assume that he didn't have familial support, but this doesn't seem to be the case. It appears Noah has always had the full support of his mother, Amy Yazbek. Amy also claims that late husband John would have had his daughter-turned-son's back all the way. Noah Lee Ritter is now 24, and he still does his best to keep out of the spotlight since transitioning at age 18. It remains to be seen if Noah will ever feel comfortable enough in his own shoes to join the rest of his family in the public eye. Noah Lee likes to stay out of the spotlight. Noah Lee Ritter's absence from the spotlight is indicative of the fear that many transgender people face regarding potential backlash from the public. It seems Noah values his mental well-being over the celebrity status that his mother and half-siblings favor. Still, he's far from the first child of a Hollywood celebrity to come out as transgender. Though Amy showed a ton of support for Noah Lee Ritter when he decided to change his gender, there have been some other celebrities that had a harder time sympathizing with their children when receiving similar news. One such celebrity is popular singer Cher, who has been outspoken about the challenges she faced upon learning that her one and only daughter, Chastity's son Bono, was becoming a man. This video is sponsored by ZBiotics. ZBiotics is a probiotic drink that helps you feel better the day after drinking. Many people think dehydration is responsible for that morning after feeling, but it's actually due to an alcohol byproduct that builds up in the gut. ZBiotics produces an enzyme specifically to break down this byproduct and reduce the after effects of alcoholic beverages. This is real science that works, not random vitamins and plant extracts like everything else. And ZBiotics is so easy to use. Just drink a bottle of ZBiotics before your first drink of alcohol. You only need 1 bottle. Then drink responsibly, pace yourself, and get a good night's sleep. Thanks to ZBiotics, you can enjoy your next day feeling refreshed and ready to make the most of it. Every time I have ZBiotics before drinking, I am amazed at how good I feel the next day. With the holiday season upon us, consider gifting ZBiotics to give the gift of a better next morning. It's unique, thoughtful, and under $40. If you use the code FACTSFIRST at checkout, you can get an extra 15% off your first order. Click the link in the description or go to zbiotics.com/factsfirst and get 15% off. Cher wasn't quite sure about her daughter's transition. Cher received the news that daughter Chastity wanted to undergo gender reassignment surgery in the 2000s. Today, Chastity goes by the name Chaz, and it would be difficult to tell that Chaz was ever a woman if you didn't already know. When the tale of Chaz's transition is shared, many people gloss over the fact that Cher initially showed some skepticism about it. Though Cher has always been someone who supported LGBTQ values, she found herself unsure about how she felt when Chastity became Chaz. Eventually, Cher was able to put her personal feelings aside side and accept her son for who he is. Today, Cher is perfectly supportive of Chaz, though she believes it's important to express how difficult it was for her to accept the news originally. Cher believes her story may help parents in similar positions. Cher and Chaz are now getting along swimmingly. In fact, it seems their relationship is stronger than ever. In 2001, Chaz Bono became the first ever transgender individual to compete on Dancing with the Stars. Some other notable celebrities with children who have come out as transgender in recent years include Jamie Lee Curtis, Sheedy, and Cynthia Nixon. Jamie Lee Curtis has been married to comedic performer Christopher Guest since 1984, and they share 2 children. One of these was born Tom, but now goes by the name of Ruby. Ruby is now in her 20s and underwent gender reassignment surgery fairly recently. Both Jamie Lee Curtis and Christopher Guest have kept an open mind through their daughter's transition, though they claim that their, quote, old and senile minds have had a hard time sorting out the pronouns. Jamie Lee Curtis and Cynthia Nixon have trans kids. Ruby started questioning the gender she was assigned at birth during her teenage years, and her parents initially didn't think much of it. Looking back, Jamie Lee Curtis claims there were several signs that her son had actually been a woman all along. One was the fact that Tom would always choose female avatars in video games. Sheedy is another Hollywood celeb with a transgender child. Her son Beckett came out as transgender during his teen years, and she's been there for him every step of the way. Beckett is now a school teacher, and it seems he's living a fairly happy life in the wake of his gender transition. Sex and the City's Cynthia Nixon is yet another Hollywood celebrity with a transgender child. Like Sheedy, Cynthia has a transgender son. Her son is named Samuel. Cynthia has always been an outspoken LGBTQ advocate. In fact, she's been more interested in politics and activism than acting in recent years. As one might imagine, Cynthia was well prepared when her son came out as transgender. In 2019, she made a bid to become the governor of New York, but her attempts weren't successful. More recently, she reprised her role as Samantha on HBO Max's Sex and the City reboot called And Just Like That. Sex and the City has often gotten a lot of credit for being ahead of its time with regard to social issues. However, Cynthia Nixon believes the original HBO series wasn't progressive enough. All the aforementioned children of Hollywood celebrities came out as transgender around the time of their coming of age. However, there are also some examples of young transgender children in the Hollywood sphere. One such example comes thanks to Charlize Theron. In 2012, Charlize adopted a son named Jackson. Today, Jackson is 11. Charlize claims Jackson transitioned from male to female 4 years ago at the age of only 7. How should you raise a kid with gender issues? Prior to Jackson Theron transitioning at the young age of 7, there was the case of Shiloh Jolie Pitt. Shiloh is the first biological child of parents Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Before kids undergoing gender transitions became the new Hollywood trend, Shiloh could be found asking her parents to call her the name of John when she was in single digits. The news was all over the tabloids in 2008, at which time she was only a toddler. Of course, many people began to criticize Brad and Angelina for raising their female daughter as a boy. However, unlike Charlize, it seems Brad and Angelina didn't take their young child identifying as the opposite gender seriously. When young son Jackson told his mom he felt more like a girl than a boy, Charlize then went about officially converting his gender. When Brad and Angelina were put in a similar situation years earlier, they wrote the behavior off as a phase. Today, it seems Shiloh Jolie Pitt is as feminine as can be, with the teenager recently showing up on the red carpet alongside her mother in a dress and light makeup. She's also kept her birth name. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know about the late John Ritter's daughter Stella transitioning to a man named Noah Lee? Let us know in the comments section below.